And now, you're tuned into RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
What is going on? Welcome to the RBLR Rowdies podcast pregame show before the Tampa Bay Rowdies take on Memphis 901. The boys are on the road, so what did we do? We're throwing a watch party at Berry House Beer Company. Woo! You can still get here. We are in Ybor. It's a very convenient, right off the exit of the highway. There's parking everywhere around the place. And to bribe you, it's literally the best beer of a small brewery in Tampa Bay. They have the medals, they have the banners, they have the hardware to prove it.
They're right behind us, folks.
Right
you gotta
behind
come
us.
see them.
My name is Eureka Wheeler, and as much as I love producing the shows, it's good to be on a pregame show, and I cannot do this without the man, the myth, the legend, James. What's going on? James Knowles.
I'm doing well, Eureka. How are you doing? I think that we are both excited for a very fun game. Hopefully a very fun game coming up.
Buddy, there's nothing better than good friends, good beer, and good soccer, and I really think we're going to get a lot of that tonight.
Yes.
My first question, I say we bring this in. The game is in just 15 to 20 minutes away. So, James, we just saw the 11. There's a couple new it's a 3-5-2. We've seen that a couple times this year, but putting in Ngambire, putting Pacifique so far forward, what do you see out of this 11 tonight?
Yeah, so recently, obviously, we've been starting with Manuel Arteaga and Cal Jennings up top. They have formed an incredible partnership, and they are both scoring tons of goals. But putting in Ngambire is interesting because I think this goes back to what Coach Robbie Nielsen was talking about when we discussed the last game with him in the post-game press conference. He said that there was a possibility they were going to do a little bit of rotation because they have 3 games coming up in about a week's time. They have today, obviously, a game away versus Memphis, and then they have 2 home games versus Birmingham Legion. That is Wednesday and Saturday of next week. So there's a lot going on in a very short period of time. With that in mind, they want to keep players fresh. They want to give them a little bit of time off if they're doing a lot of extra running. Cal Jennings, of course, is doing that. So I guess he is the one who gets the axe just for tonight in the starting lineup. That doesn't mean that we won't see him later. I'm assuming we will. But that gives Ngambire a good chance to start and work his way back into the starting 11 if he plays well. I think that we saw him start in the first game of the season and play very well in that game too. It was not in this position, but now we get to see him where the Rowdies coaching staff originally wanted to see him play, and that is up top. I'm very interested to see how that works for him and if he can develop a bit of a partnership with Arteaga.
Yeah, so for those, the 11 is Jordan Farr is in the net. There is the old back 3 of Doherty, Lasso, and Guillen. Hilton is that pivot right in the middle of the field. Munjoma, Crisostomo, Perez gets the start, and Blake Bodley on the other wing with Pacifique and Manuel Arteaga. So, I mean, I guess just looking at this 11, are you really hoping that they're going to rely mostly on Arteaga to create a lot of the chances up front, or is this a crosses from the box from Bodley and Munjoma to get them into Pacifique? How do you think the attack is just on this formation alone?
Well, I think that we're going to see a lot of what we have been seeing the last couple of games. So that'll be the Rowdies going down the wings. That'll be the Rowdies using Eddie Munjoma and Blake Bodley the most to create, and with their partners Aaron Guillen on the left, Jordan Doherty on the right, Josh Perez on the left, and Danny Crisostomo on the right.
Yeah.
I got through it all, folks. But yeah, it'll be those players on the wings trying to create for Ngambire and Arteaga up top. Ngambire and Arteaga will be trying to do similar things again from the last couple of games where they will get into the space behind the Memphis defense that we hope is created by that partnership on the left and the right between, I guess it would be 3 players, so it's more than a partnership, but yeah, the same principle stands.
Well, I guess so. If you're Memphis and you're seeing this, knowing full well that these guys might not be able to go full bore because there's just only so much energy that person has, and you have who knows what the Rowdies are putting their eggs in the Open Cup basket with a playing Birmingham twice next week.
Exactly.
I mean, there's not that a trap game is what I'm saying, but you're looking at Memphis. They've only won 2 games all year, but they have a good chance. They always play us hard, and their surface is very, very bad. other than the things right off the top, what other weaknesses do you maybe see the Rowdies encountering today?
At the moment, there aren't a ton of weaknesses. The big problem is the way we've been playing does allow a lot of room in the back behind us because, as Coach Nielsen also said, he likes to get our center backs, that would be Doherty, Lasso, and Guillen, up to the halfway line and play in the opposition's half. That's a very good strategy as long as it works, because the second it breaks down, obviously, you've got a lot of problems behind you. So if Memphis can use their small field, what the old coach Neil Collins once called a postage stamp, if they can use their small field to put it over the heads of Guillen, Lasso, and Doherty at the back, that could create problems. And we're going to see them probably attempt to do that. Now, if we go back to the podcast that we had on Wednesday, we spoke with Lauren Stockery of the 901 Soccer Podcast. He was extremely helpful.
Shout out to the 901 Podcast. Very nice.
He was extremely helpful in explaining how Memphis have been doing and why things have not gone their way. And it's not necessarily that they're a bad team. It seems mostly to be down to player selection and availability. They have most of their players back who have been out for extended periods. Akeem Ward had a suspension due to a red card, as did the other fullback on the other side, Oscar Jimenez. Knight Pickering, their forward, was away with the U.S. Youth National Team. So there are all of these different problems that they've had. Yeah. They are all back, and they're going to be here trying to do the thing that we just talked about, getting over the heads of Lasso, Guillen, and Doherty at the back. And if they can do that, it's going to be a small field. There's going to be less room that they have to run into to get onto Jordan Farr in our net. So we're going to see all of that take place.
Now, all that aside, how realistic do you think it is? Now, I think you and I both predicted draws on Wednesday. Carlos, I think, predicted a win. But now that we're sitting on game day, how formidable do you think the Rowdies are in terms of, look, if the field doesn't present that bad of an obstacle, just based on our talent alone, I think we're obviously the better team of the two teams. I mean, I maybe want to adjust my game day prediction. I want us to say that we're going to win. I think we can definitely score more goals on talent alone, and our defense has been very, very locked in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you think the Rowdies absolutely lock down 3 points today on the road?
Well, in all honesty, if we think about what our potential downfalls are, if it's those balls over the back and the field is so small at this point, maybe we just sit a little deeper. Maybe we sit a little deeper. Instead of pushing Memphis to the halfway line and making them play in their own half, it might be a little advisable and a little bit deeper. Give himself, 10, 15 yards, let's say, behind the halfway line. Give himself some space so that if Memphis does attempt that ball over the top and they give their fullbacks especially some room to run onto the ball, I think that if Forrest Lasso just sits himself a little deeper, he's been lights out this season so far. He's been incredible. I think we've all noticed an uptick from last season, which is not to say that he was poor last season, but he's definitely better this season. Yeah. If he can sit a little deeper, he's going to get his head on a lot of those, and he's going to clear it right back down Memphis's half, and he's going to say, no, you are not going to play in our half. We're going to play in your half.
What about the X factor that we have an actual Jedi Knight playing for us on May 4th on Star Wars Day at Memphis? Jokes aside, it's going to be a fun game. And you still have time. We still have a few more minutes before kickoff. You still have a chance to get down and enjoy some of this literally award-winning, gold medal-winning beer.
They're on the wall behind us.
There are pitcher specials tonight. We are giving away items from the Rowdies and the RBLR shop. There's a ton of giveaways. There's food now at the Berry House. We have little bites. We have the Bavarian pretzel. There's hummus. There's chips and salsa. And you could still bring in pizza and stuff from all of the cool stuff here in Ybor. There's parking everywhere. It's a fun time. It's already a packed house in Berry House, but there's still a seat for you. If you are watching this, if you are one of the people watching this on the live stream, get your butt down to the Berry House. Come hang out with us. Come have a beer with us. Come meet James. Come meet myself. Come say what's up to all the other Rowdies fans that are here tonight. James, I'm excited. We want to be pragmatic and we want to be realistic on Wednesday, but on Saturday, I'm all about vibes, James. I want the 3 points. I don't care what I said about a draw. Like I would love the 1 point on the road, but let's get these three. We needed to make up maybe from some of the winnable games that have turned into draws.
Yes.
This is a probably a draw that we need to somehow get these 3 points out of. And they're in form. Unfortunately, we do see some people that are still injured, like Leo Fernandez is still on the Haribo is still on the list.
Yep.
And I don't want to downplay their contributions, but those are players that haven't been on the field. I mean, Fernandez did get a little bit of time, but right now we're seeing Blake Bodley. We're now seeing Nick Moon integrated, and I think you're going to see a lot more of him tonight.
Yeah.
Because on that bench, right, if we look at that 11 on the bench, Kleeman, Moon, Dennis, Rivera, Ortiz, and Jennings, none of the academy kids are here tonight, right?
Other than Ortiz.
Sorry, you're right. Yes, Ortiz. But even him, Christian Ortiz, he's kind of elevated. Like
he has elevated himself. It's hard to think of him as an academy kid.
To be honest with you, I kind of didn't because I think he's a kid that might have played his way into a contract.
Absolutely.
If they want to offer him one. So, I think that we have the right team. We have the right players. Even our bench can come in the second half to spell some of these people. I mean, imagine having Jennings on your bench.
That's nuts. At this level, folks, that is nuts.
So with all that said, I'm hyped for a Rowdies win. I hope you are too. For James Knowles here, final word. Do you want to change your prediction? I'm already in. I think we win tonight. But, James, how do you really see it on game day here?
Well, I want to bring up Lawrence Dockery one more time. He said that he was going to put up a prediction of a 3-2 win for Memphis, so keep that in mind, folks.
Yeah, okay.
With that in my mind, I will change my prediction from a 0-0 draw to a 2-2 draw.
Hey, that's exactly what I said on Wednesday, too. So, yeah, look, I think there's going to be a lot of goals, good and bad, for both teams, and I think it's going to be more exciting than you usually get on that pitch. But – guys, let's get to kickoff. It's in just a few minutes. Thank you for joining us. If this is the first time you're listening to us, thank you. Thank you for spending this time with us. We try to do watch parties. We're going to do watch-alongs on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. So thank you. But if you're returning, if you're back in the fold, welcome to the family, guys. There's one more thing you can do for us. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Whatever platform you're on, we are there too. And as much as we love the Rowdies, we also give you content almost daily about the Rays, the Bucks. We just did a huge draft watch along for the Buccaneers. The Lightning, even though their season's over, there is no off season at RBLR. Every single week we give you content. So thank you for everybody that's joined us. Thank you for returning. Get your butt to Berry House. And for one more time, for 3 points, come on, you Rowdies.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.